welcome everyone. I think everyone is pretty much joined in and joined with audio as well. So I hope you can all hear us. Yeah, welcome everyone that's joined us. This is our fourth talk of the Art of Printmaking International, which is a series of 5 talks which aims to present the work and the history of 5 printmaking studios based all over the world and connect their respective audiences and networks to each other. This program of talks is part of Casa Mills Then and Now, which is a heritage project funded by National Lottery Heritage Fund and is made possible by money raised by National Lottery players. So the fourth talk this evening is given by Fondazione Il Bisonte in Florence, Italy. And we have added their website and other useful links in the chat. Before I introduce our speakers tonight, I would just really like to ask all attendees to please remain muted for the duration of the talk. After the presentation by our speakers, there will be time for questions where you can either use the raise hand option or on your screen and wait to be called by myself, or type your question in the chat and my colleague Razan, who's joining us today as well, will read it out for the speakers on your behalf. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce Fondazione Il Bisonte, which is a historic institution deeply rooted in the local area and one of the leading protagonists of the 20th century artistic scene in Florence and broader Italy. Founded in 1959 by Maria Luigia Guaita, Carlo Ludovico Ragghianti, and Enrico Vallecchi, Il Bisonte is a unique institution in the field of art printmaking at the national level and an artistic excellence recognized worldwide. The international school has been operating since 1983, training students not only in the application of engraving techniques and processes, but also in how to manage a printmaking workshop. So our speakers today are Simone Guaita, who studied Hello. So Simone studied architecture until Maria Luigia Guaita convinced him to take a 1-year engraving course at Il Bisonte, which she had founded in 1959. At that point, Il Bisonte entered Simone Guaita's life, overturning ideas and plans and reviving the old belief that the journey is more important than the destination. Straying from the path, he found himself both in love and lost in an unexpected place. After a year in the workshop where he learned the fundamentals of traditional engraving techniques, Simone moved permanently to the office gallery where Maria Luigia Guaita, alongside a small group of people, welcomed him and taught him the foundation of this new profession. After the passing of Maria Luigia Guaita, Simone joined Rodolfo Ceccotti in leading Il Bisonte, surrounded by people equally devoted to the foundation's well-being. Simone Guaita has always worked at and later led Il Bisonte with the idea of shared responsibilities, keeping an eye on the balance between traditional techniques and an innovative approach. Welcome, Simone. And we are also joined today by Silvia Bellotti. Silvia is a curator and art critic with expertise in contemporary print media. She has worked with major institutions in the field of contemporary art and gained international experience specializing in post-human and feminist studies with Rosi Bredotti at Utrecht University. Since 2021, she has been the curator of Fondazione Il Bisonte, where she conducts research aimed at blending printmaking techniques with experimentation of contemporary expressive languages. She has curated exhibitions in Italy and abroad and has written essays for national and international publications. She collaborates with the Academy of Fine Arts in Florence, developing seminars on curatorial practice, art market, and the creation of an artistic portfolio. So, thank you.
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Fine.
Thank you for watching us.
Yeah, thank you for joining us tonight for the fourth talk. I'm going to leave it with you. I'll just start with the very general questions. Where are you joining us from? And, tell us a bit more about Il Bisonte and this, great space in Florence.
Okay, so I will start, and I will first say this is quite unconventional for us because we usually tour Il Bisonte starting from the other premise we have that is just not far from here. This place is the are the studios. We have 4 studios in this premise, and this is the place we visit now because we may enjoy the last hour of daylight.
Yeah.
So this is quite in the historical center of Florence, and this place was the ancient stable of the noble building just in front of the street. And so the 2 main rooms were usually used, one for horses and the other one for coaches. And still you can see ancient signs of the previous porches. Nowadays we host in this place our main activity, that is teaching and doing printmaking. So we have several different approach to it. So from classes to hosting artists, we try to be 360 degrees, not to close ourselves in one corner and just defend the position. So I'd like Sylvia to go on explaining you better our activities.
Yeah.
And then we can just move around and show you places and then finish the talk at the gallery that is not distant from here.
Yeah.
Great.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for welcoming us here. So, yeah, the Fondazione Bisonte actually is a little bit complicated to explain because we have a lot of parts and faces, and yeah, we have an art gallery we are going to see later, an amazing library, an historical archive, a contemporary archive, and 4 printmaking studios. Actually, we are in the studio right now, and the studio structure is articulated. Like, for example, of course, we have this, as you said before, Ilaria, this our important school, the international school. Usually, the school posso dire, avviene di mattina?
It happens
In the morning. So we have this 1-year course in specialization course in printmaking, and yeah, usually the target, the people who enroll in this course are like students from the Academia of Fine Arts and from all over the world, actually. Yeah, but we have other kind of courses, for example, open courses during the afternoon. Or we have a print club like yours in the Edinburgh, of the Edinburgh Printmakers. Yeah, is a club actually with a card you have to buy to have some discount on courses and on classes. We also have artist residency. Especially we have in this place actually, because this part is dedicated most of the time to the artists in residence. And yeah, our artists in residence, our residency, sorry, are usually by invitation. Okay, so we have artists, international artists from the residency are like from 2 weeks to 6 months. And of course, we can accept application maybe by email, or I said this for the people who listened, but of course, in this case, we have to evaluate all the singles applications. But people can start enjoy Bisonte maybe for the first time by some courses, maybe by some short courses. We have a lot. Maybe we can talk about later about the summer schools, the summer courses. Yeah, but before we can start to show some spaces in the studios.
Yeah.
Ilaria, we can see you, but yeah, I think it's normal. Okay, now we can see you.
Yeah.
We spoke.
I think you might only be able to see me if I'm talking. I don't know, but I hope you can still see me, but I'm still here.
No, now we can see you. Okay.
Okay. But yeah, I think when you say short courses, what is the duration? Is it like
Short courses are from 1 month to
okay?
3 months. We have 1 or 3 months. The summer courses are from 1 week to 2 weeks.
Okay.
And the institutional courses are from 6 months to 1 year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're usually happen in the morning.
We have flexible courses for people that
Yeah, of
like
course.
to.
During
I mean,
the
we
open
have even
courses also.
flexible courses for a very short period of time, maybe a few days a week.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's very easy to drop in and have a class at El Bisonte. We have the institutional one that usually are in the morning. They are more thought for people that comes from after university background.
Yes.
Instead for, and just to finish their own study time, then going on and trying to have a profession out of this study. But all the other activities happening in Bisonte studios are more ordinary, like a few days, few afternoons, following their own project ideas, just to even have sometimes an hobby. Why not?
Like the print and like the print club.
Yeah, like
Like the print club.
So on one side, we have the more institutional, orthodox, maybe even a little bit rigid approach with the institutional classes. On the other hand, we have the everyday routine of people working in the studio, like so commonly see around the world in social studios and I mean, printmaking studios, everybody know, are very open to people.
Yeah. So so like when you mentioned the print club is almost like a membership based use of the studio. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly like that. To be honest, it's a little bit more focused on people that live in Florence because it can be you can take most advantage of it if you do the most long-lasting one because and the number of entrances you may have is very good relationship.
Yeah. But it sounds like it's quite actually flexible to get involved with the Il Bisonte in terms of what you were saying. There's shorter courses that can be organized and adapted if anyone kind of inquires.
Okay, allow me to answer your question or to take in a consideration that things changed in the past years. I'm working at Bisonte since almost 30 years, and when I arrived, it was far more difficult to get in. Okay, Bisonte was not really open to everybody. It was just for specialization classes, few people focusing so much, everyday work and so many hours. But time changed and there was an evolution, and we decided to make this place more open. It's something that happened mostly after 2007, 2005, when Bisonte became a foundation. That was a turning point for us.
For example, before we have the main course of 2 years. Now we have just 1 year for the special course.
Okay, that's really interesting. I think if you want to like show us around, I think it's really cool. Make things in context and also tell us the different techniques that you can do at the Bisonte.
Yes, of course. We used
many.
Yeah, but of course, maybe we have to say the fact we used to be focused on lithography, but not now. Now we change a little.
Told during the history part of this visit. Now it's a little bit dusk, so there's not so much light as we hoped for.
It's
But
really
this
nice
is
anyway.
This is the yard of the Bisonte. We have around this yard, we have 3 main studios plus a fourth one we will show you. This room with same people inside is our main studio. There is people working now. Some of them are for print club. Some others are people coming from the morning classes that decided to prolong their day of work.
And we also have an artist in residence.
And one artist in residence over there. Over here, you can see our acid path. This is nitric acid. We have nitric acid, ferrichloride, and copper sulfate, and 3 different separate stations. We are lucky enough to have a favorable weather that allows us to keep all the acids on the outside.
Yeah.
So you take advantage of the natural ventilation.
That is very nice.
This is
very lucky.
The aquatin box. We do not work on very large format. So the most large printing press we have is 88 centimeters. So we can have plates no larger than 88 for 1 meter and a half. But if you consider that we rarely work as master printers, it's not common to have artists over here that want to work on large format. And the yellow basin that I can show you is the bigger we have for doing acid backbone. Okay, we sneak in. The connection can get worse. So
we'll try.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and here.
To here, I can hear.
This is Marco Poma.
Hello.
Now we introduce our teacher and the assistants. So here, Michele Bernardini and Maria Vadel.
Hello.
Yeah, 2 students from the morning classes. Maybe if you want to, ragazze, volete fare un ciao? Siamo in Mondovisione. Okay. Here, there are the students stay here during the morning, and they put sometimes the works on the wall, as you can see.
That's very nice.
And here is Stefano Minutella, our artist in residence right now.
Ciao.
Okay, so we keep
Did I explain something about
around.
the presses?
What?
Vuoi spiegare I torti qualcuno?
Yeah.
I mean, if it happens to you to drive around and see studios, most of them are similar and they have a quite common basic grammar. We have this corner with 3 presses, the ink and toner, water, and we need working with many people at the same time. We need several tables for them to work, and they stay on the other side of the room. This room was the room that anciently was used for the coaches. The only things that really remain is those iron hooks over there for the bridles. Bridles, I don't know in English.
Okay.
I finimenti dei cavalli, Ilaria, puoi aiutarci tu.
Okay, let's...
for the horses' reins. So yeah, as you said at the beginning, this building was the stables of a Renaissance, a big palace.
Here there is another room.
Well,
Okay.
we can't go over there because we risk to lose the connection, but we will sneak in from the window.
Yeah, no,
just
already
under our wonderful lemon tree with all the lemons.
So nice.
Over there is one person working, and maybe other 6, 7 spots for working, and another printmaker etching press.
Okay, so that space is also for etching.
Yeah.
The room we were in
Yeah.
Actually, one of the most nice we have is the one that is more true to itself, because it still have all the what remain of the
The
boxes,
stables.
of the horse boxes.
Yeah, the stables.
Mhm.
I actually have a question in the chat, Simone and,
Yeah.
and Silvia. Someone's asking, is it possible to work in wood blocks in your studio? Do you,
Yeah.
Of course.
do wood block?
So the idea is, this is okay. So our classes are quite custom. So usually students and artists that come to work with us, they come with their own project and with their own ideas, and we try to work with them a program, a track to follow for them to increase their technical skills, or even the ideas and poetry.
Yeah.
But
research of
one of the basic approach is that what we can do in the studio is the limit. So in our studios, we can easily work with etching and woodcut and woodblock and linocut. So we do not need to set up something special for them. So that's for that techniques, we are always ready.
You're set.
For what we are not always ready is silk screen and lithography. For them, we have to set up specific corner of our studios, and so we have to schedule them to have a specific offer for those kind of workshop that we do during the year, but it's not routinely available.
Yeah.
Same thing for the last studio we're going to show you, and this is the typography. We
This is very special.
press, sorry, okay, letterpress. We setting up this studio. We have some courses in here. We can do some courses in here, but as Simone said before, we have to arrange before. We have to. It's not possible every day.
Yeah.
Right? Yes, but yeah, Simone.
But you can accommodate
So
for
much letterpress studio.
it. This
now
is so nice because we don't have it here, so it's really good to
and
see.
see. Ilaria?
Yeah, I think the connection is a bit sticky.
Say something, Ilaria.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Okay, perfect. So,
Yeah, I think if you go back to the main studio, there might be better connection.
okay. So
Yeah,
we move to the gallery, to the art gallery.
Yeah, let's go to the gallery. So
Yeah.
we finish with the beginning, because usually
Yeah. I have a comment in the chat from Rona. You might remember Rona. She's saying that that's where she worked. In the area where the horses stalls are is where she worked with the Printmaking Sisters in May 2020.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You know, they're going to be new sisters.
In Italian we say caramba.
It's a little bit of a mess nowadays, because we are moving things around. We'll probably have a new room in a few months, so we have to manage all the presses we have. But to be okay, I want to say two different things. So the first is historical. So
yeah,
here you can see this black cast iron press and this wooden one. Those two are the first presses of the Bisonte. They were the one on which Bisonte started to work in 1959, and they come directly from the Geographical Institute of the Army, from which Bisonte bought those two presses, more than 200 stones, and most important, hired the two lithographers that work with us since the very beginning. And this set I'd like to say that we have a little bit overgrown number of presses because we receiving them as presents. This is weird, but many old artists or families of artists just inherited some artisanal presses. They are not really so good presses, but they are presents like this one or like this other one. They're very nice. They're very beautiful. They're scenographic. They do not work properly. So we cannot throw that away because they're presents from even quite important artists, but we do not use them. So
So
we them around like furniture in an old house.
So if someone who listen have, I don't know, a room in Florence where we can put all this, is perfect. Thank you.
They are though a very nice like resource, even visual resource for like, you know, the history of printmaking or just seeing different examples of presses. Even just when you walk in, it's nice to see them.
Yes. Okay. In fact, we call this part the ancient, the Museum of Ancient Press.
Yeah.
Okay. Esatto. So
yeah, it's like a small museum. It's a
small museum.
Yeah.
Okay, so we try to move to the gallery. We hope the connection stand up. What to say? In the meanwhile, this is the south part of Florence, city center. Is at south of the River. Used to be one common people place. The buildings, the structure used to be a poor part of the city. And when Bisonte arrived in 1950, opened in 59, but moved to San Nicolò in 65, it still was crowded with very little artisans, with very humble things. Now things changed. I think no more corner of the city in that way. Now everything is quite posh and picturesque.
Yeah.
And
but you're right in the city, in the historical city center of Florence. You're very much in the center.
So for everyone to have a reference about where exactly we are in San Nicolò. That is exactly at the foot of the hill on which Piazzale Michelangelo stay, and really not far, 200 meters from Ponte Vecchio. It's super charming, quite uneasy because it's very difficult to come over here with a car. But as we've been around since so many years that we used to.
I think it's a little bit out from touristic tours, and there is I don't know, a soul. There are citizens in here, Florentine people and
residents. Yeah.
For now.
For now, yeah.
Now.
So you and a few others.
But
two of them work in the Bisonte now.
To be honest, this is still a part of the city that is similar to what we used to be in 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, my question, I actually thought a question would be like, do you get, you have sort of answered, do you get tourist footfall visiting the gallery, or do you not really have that many tourists?
Not so much, like in the not so much because people, the tourists usually I try to show you. Okay, this is the tower of San Nicolò. This part, in this part there is Ponte Vecchio, so usually the tourists pass to this part and go up to Piazzale Michelangelo. So this part is a little bit out from this. But in fact, okay, Simone said tonight is very full of people, but usually it's very quiet. No, Simone.
Yeah.
Okay, now we try the operation.
Yeah.
Because the first two rooms are of the art gallery, but we don't have connection in there.
Yeah,
Yes,
I was about to say that. So now we're inside.
This is not very elegant. This is not very elegant, but you know what? That part of the building,
worked.
Which is not connected all of the city, so the walls are very, very thick, and so
Yeah. This is a
to
problem in a
be
lot of places where there's old buildings with really, really thick walls, and
yeah.
technology doesn't work well with old buildings with big walls. But it worked. We're
Yeah.
inside your office space of next to the gallery.
Yes. Yes, this is the
No, come here. Yani, this is Bijou. This is an important part of the foundation. Bijou, don't hide. Just say hi. This is Bijou, and he worked here since 30 years, something like this.
yeah, maybe more than 30
Maybe
years.
more.
Okay, let's go to the library, which is a collection.
Wow, this is beautiful. This is always such a nice room to see.
Yeah, we know.
So, yeah, it does really have a very good vibe, to be honest. Bisonte, for example, something very cool is the floor. This is a really very old workshop floor, because this is interesting. This part of the Bisonte was the first one. So Bisonte moved to San Nicolò in 65 over here. So here we had the presses and the studios. It was a workshop. It was not a gallery. The gallery was just the very first room. Okay? So this part was used to be tough, not elegant.
Yeah.
Then when the school opened in 1983 and we bought the other premise and moved there, this part became whole gallery. So offices, gallery, and library, and open to public, and we polished a little bit the details, but underneath this not so successful prize, you can easily see how this used to be a working place. And so is, but I think Il Bisonte is almost the opposite of a white cube. Is a place that.
Now, this is a thing for me, I think. No,
Yeah,
I'm just joking.
Yeah, Silvia comes from a different background, but thus we are overwhelming with little things, from books, presses, and stones. And I mean, in printmaking, there are so many. You pay attention to so many little details, from the points you're using to even the agate stone you use for erasing the metal is an object of beauty. So easy to fall in love with all these little details. But
so can you show us this room, just a proper like pan around the room, because
Yeah,
there's
maybe
so many
Simone,
prints
do you
on
want
the wall.
okay, I'll
make
show
the
you
name?
some of the most important works. I try not to be.
Start with your uncle? No?
No,
Okay.
let's
Okay,
start with,
no, but
let's start with Maria Luigia Guaita.
Mm-hmm.
That lady, she was the founder. She was the sister of my grandfather. Yeah, let's go back from to the beginning.
Yes.
Maria Luigia was a partisan during the Second World War, and she was in a group captained by an art historian, very important one, Carlo Ludovico Ragghianti, and it was thanks to him that he fell in love with art. So after the war, she traveled around and she went to Scotland. And in Scotland, she discovered lithography. Because mind me, we're talking about the 50s. In the 50s, in Italy, lithography was mostly into typographies. they were not used in a structured way for producing art lithographies. It happened to have some edition around, but usually inside typographies that had another business plan. So what she decided, she met an artist in Scotland named Anna Redpath, and she totally fell in love with this new technique, new for her, new for Italy, and decided that there was future for that. There was chances for this technique to be used. So she rushed back to Italy, gathered her friends, and one of them from the Accademia delle Belle Arti, and they got in touch with, as I told you before, with the Geographical Institute of the Army, and bought the stones, the presses, hired the lithographers, and began an adventure. And they began working with the young informal artists, like the red one, Carmassi, the red one,
Scanavino.
and the sort of stonish, flaggish, whatever stuff is that one, Pomodoro.
Si spegni. Perché...
Wait.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, other, yeah.
So the one at the top on the left,
This is
right? Yeah.
Pomodoro, okay.
Pomodoro.
Yeah, and we there is also Moreni, but we don't have in this room. But yeah.
So they were four young artists doing lithography. Probably for the first time, it was a flop. I mean, it didn't work simply because really they were not famous yet, not known by the people. And remember, we're talking about the 50s. So it was a totally different country. It was just recovering from the damages of the Second World War. The economical boom was beginning to happen. So it was really something very, very different. And in that moment, they had the vision to work with a very old guy, Ardengo Soffici, that one, that was very famous already. And it was very famous even before Second World War happened. And so lithography became the media for widespreading important names at affordable prices in a society that was really under heavy changes. Okay, so Ardengo Soffici was a sold out, but most important, he was happy. He enjoyed lithography. He enjoyed the environment. So he called for his friend Gino Severini, Alberto Magnelli, and Carlo Carrà. Carlo Carrà, is the most famous Italian artist we have in the collection. So with those four guys, Il Bisonte had finally success, gained money, and everything was starting to go in the right direction. In the meanwhile, in 1962, they printed Picasso, the only Picasso printed in Italy, and it was done for political reasons, because both Maria Luigia and the partisan captain Ragghianti were anti-fascists, of course. And so, just with sympathy for him, for this common cause, he accepted to work with Bisonte, with his common background. But he said, if we had to do this operation for political reasons and not for business, all the money you're going to gain is not going to you, but to the anti-fascist cause. In fact, with this collaboration, Bisonte didn't get almost no money. All the money went to lawyers to defend political prisoners in Franquist Spain. But the fame that came out of this collaboration was huge. Bisonte was just 3 years old, already working with Picasso. So, and Picasso and the late futurists, everything was going super smooth. They gained money, they bought these premises and moved over here in 1965, just 1 year before the flood. The flood in this neighborhood was really dire. The water was 6 meters high, and Bisonte was practically wiped out. Many prints survived because they were stored in the second level, but many were destroyed, and we lost, for example, all the letters we may had received from Picasso, from Soffici or Carrà. So huge damage, even mostly under the cultural point of view. And of course, the studios were destroyed. So they had to be rebuilt, everything to be cleaned, and it was quite a mess. But let me tell you that when I'm telling you it was a different environment, a different society, something you have to always remember is that Maria Luigia, the founder and the guide, the leader,
Yeah.
woman, and was a woman running a business in the 50s and in the 60s. It was not common. So for sure, working with art was a sort of safer environment, but still was not such a common thing to find around. Why I'm telling you this? To let you understand that she was not common. She was exceptional. She was a fighter. She was courageous, stubborn, aggressive. She was really a very specific kind of person, and was that kind of person that do not quit in front of a natural disaster. She did not surrender in front of the war. She did not surrender in front of the flood. So she gathered her friends again, and she did an international call to international artists to help Bisonte to stand up again. And the first most important artist that answered this call was Henry Moore, the English sculptor. And now we have to say that Henry Moore, like all the sculptures, was easy to see around in Florence because Carrara is not distant. So he probably knew the city and probably was knew what was happening and wanted to help. And Bisonte gave him the chance to help.
It was a lot with the city since it was like 18, something like this. So it's so important for the artist poetry. Florence, I mean, just Michelangelo, one for all, because of course, Henry Moore was inspired by Michelangelo statues. So this is when Maria Luigia Guaita text to write a letter to Henry Moore. Of course, Henry Moore decided to come to the Bisonte and enjoy the opportunity to come to the Bisonte.
We had to say that probably he would have done one print, help the Bisonte, and just go back to his routine. But what happened is that he found that our lithographers, the very same one from the Geographical Institute of the Army, they were exceptionally skilled artisans. So he enjoyed to stay in Bisonte, the cultural background, the skilled people. He kept coming back, and he did 13 editions with us.
13. Yeah.
And brought to us his friend, Lynn Chadwick, and Graham Sutherland. So those three sculptures were the very beginning of the international collaborations Bisonte had. So now, not in chronological order, because that is not...
Okay, I can follow you in this, Simone, because the people, I think... Okay. I try.
Okay, we'll try one at a time.
Okay.
Sebastian Matta from Chile, Sherman from the USA, Michel Fulan from Belgium, Rufino Tamayo, that is one of the great Mexican artists from Mexico.
Scanavino, Lipschitz, yeah.
From
Lithuania.
Spain, Stravinsky was a teacher of the Bauhaus Academy. Wunderlich from Germany, and Alexander Calder.
Wait. Okay, here, Alexander Calder.
The one up there, yep.
This one.
Yeah, you can tell.
So everything was amazing and working super fine. Now, something that may have jumped to your attention is that all these works, all the international, all the not international, all the historical works that we have in our collection are lithographies. Because in Bisonte, like I told you, Maria Luigia Guaita discovered lithography and enjoyed to bring lithography to Italy, and everything was going super well for many different reasons that is we do not have time to consider. But at some point, at the end of the 70s and the beginning of the 80s, lithography started to suffer a sort of backfire from some slippery habits, mostly with watered down editions with artist proofs and things like that. So slowly the market, I think about the selling of the prints, but even the market as the students. So Maria Luigia in 1983 opened Il Bisonte School after more or less more than 20 years of working as a art publisher to teach the ethical,
the values,
traditional approach to printmaking. Slowly, at the very beginning, Bisonte School had lithography class and etching class. Slowly, the attention of the people shifted from lithography to etching, and sort of we lost our skill, knowledge, attention to lithography, and we start to slowly focus more and more on etching.
Just sorry, Simone, puoi accendere il tuo telefono e collegarlo? Yeah, I think
we have a problem.
We have a problem with the phone.
% of battery, but l'avevo ricaricato, però just if my connections go down, we have another one. Just
yeah,
sorry for the
I do have a couple of questions in the chat. One is, Simone, can you remind me the relationship with Maria Luigia Guaita? She was the sister of grandfather. Thank you. And the other question is, because, and I was about to ask you the same, this fantastic collection of print and this room being so beautiful is open to the public.
Yes. It's open to the public. It's easy to drop by and have a tour around. Could be cool to tell us before you come in, but still it's very easy to just drop by. Even the library is open to public.
Absolutely. We have a few books in English too, not so much, but we have it. I think in this part, I don't know where is the section of English books. I forgot. Okay, it's no problem. But it's specialized in printmaking, and we have more than 3,000 volumi.
Yeah, 2,000. Yeah, and a lot of them are, I'm guessing, art catalog, exhibition catalogs as well.
Yes, of course. So, we have too many. If you want some, there's no problem. I can give you some. But yeah, we maybe we forgot to say we also have this historical archive with more than 1,000 prints in there, and this totally open to the public. We can show you.
Yeah.
This part, I hope we can just have to stay in this part.
Yeah.
This is, I can go there because I don't have the connection. This part you can see the art gallery. Right now we don't have anything on the walls, but we are going to have another exhibition on informal painting, actually. But yeah, this and this are for the historical archive. So you can come here and just
browse the prints.
Look and sneak off on the prints. So this is the part of the gallery.
And the library, is it for just consultation? I'm guessing
Just
you can't take
consultation,
books
yeah.
out. Yeah.
That's no, yeah, exactly. I just want to show you just the last thing about the history.
Yeah.
This is the targa,
The sign?
the sign, yeah,
The sign.
of where the water arrived the 4th of November 1966 during the floods. So these are like 4 meters.
Yeah, it covered everything. Yeah.
Okay. And this is the part of the office. Me and Simone. Okay, I think we can, if you have any questions, maybe we can talk about, Simone, we can talk about the future goals or... Yeah, this is, okay.
Yeah, if you want, I have a question, a very specific question in the chat from someone, is asking, is it possible to arrange access to the studio for more than 2 days a week on a flexible course during the summer?
Absolutely.
No,
Yeah.
wait, the summer, yes, but consider that as real traditional Italian, we are closed for the whole month.
August. Yeah. Okay. So I guess the good answer is like to reach out and yeah, arrange the access, but not in August.
I
So-
think, sorry, just,
Sorry.
Ilaria.
That was the rule.
If someone has some specific questions about timetables, and they can write an email to info@ilbisonte or school@ilbisonte, because we can arrange a course based on the needs. No, die. Okay, now we have the inception. Okay, so
Yeah.
Okay, now this is the end of the introduction.
Now the talk starts.
Now the talk starts, and that's true. I would like to say few smoky things, okay? Because I think this is one of the most important points. It's just not simply to measure how our studios are different from other places. I think everybody in this chat is involved in printmaking, and there are a few things that I think are common worldwide for printmaking. Is that first of all, okay, Il Bisonte was born, as I told you, in 1959 at the beginning as a printmaking publisher, lithography publisher, and then as a school, and slowly we sort of built up a tradition and a way of approach to doing etching, woodcut, or whatever. In Italy, I had to admit that our approach is quite traditional, even if we are trying to break this this link. Okay, so the idea nowadays is to sorry, there is a change of telephone, but can we?
no, we need my per morire. Sorry, Ilaria, my telephone is going to die, so we
Have
need
to change telephone.
So can I just?
Yeah, you want to switch.
But you had to allow my telephone mic. Attiva audio.
Yeah.
Is it working?
Yeah, you might want to mute the other one. I think it is
Okay,
working.
perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Do you want to put the
Bisonte,
camera on as well,
school
Simone?
is now trying to change. Okay, I'm sorry. Do you still have us?
Yeah, but I can't see you. So if you want to put the camera on your phone
Haha.
as well, we can hear you.
Yeah, we are.
Here you are again.
Sorry. Okay.
Okay, super cool. So, as I was telling you, 59, 83, art publisher, then school, then on 2005, we became foundation. And in 2007, Maria Luigia died. And so many different things changed. In the past years of her life, we had to even follow a sort of line she dictated to us. But when she died, and me and Rodolfo Ceccotti, we tried to, what is the new line for us? What are we going to do? Things are changing, the Bisonte is changing, the printmaking is changing so much. And so many challenges. And even to find reason to love this very technique. So we had to dig ourselves and find new reason, not just sort of keeping on with the tradition. And so, first of all, as a foundation, we changed our point of view and we focus more on non-profit things like having pupils and kids having classes visiting us and having setting up programs that are not profitable under the money point of view and more on seeding, planting the future trees. Okay, we had to work no more on short term, more on mid-term and long term. And even sometimes changing the point of view, and this is not easy, not on the artist, but on the public. Okay, we as a school, we usually work with artists or technician, master printers, running workshop technician. But at some point we decided we have to work with people that enjoy art because it's not a basic skill. You have to educate people to enjoy art. And I'm not just meaning to teach them our techniques, but even just to stay still and enjoy what you have in front of your eyes. Try to understand, try to read what the artists have in their own minds. Is not natural, it's not basic. It's something that you take years to educate people to enjoy beautiness. So this is something that is a sort of cloud that stays over here always. And on the other hand, Il Bisonte is trying to get out, as I was telling at the beginning when we were in the other room, of the corner of just simply being a school. So we're trying to transform. I think we already had quite a success, but we keep going in that direction to be no more a school closed, open just to students that wanted to specialize and invest very seriously years of their own lives in this, but even to become a hub for printing. But first of all, we had to break the bias we had. Because in a sort of in a way or another, being Italian in Italy, in Florence, just to stop what you were already doing since years was an effort. So, but on the other hand, I always thought, since I'm working in Bisonte and with printmaking, that among all the artists media, all the other techniques, printmaking is the most welcoming and the most
accessible,
friendly, because it's so difficult for one single artist to own his own studio that printmakers are trained since the very beginning to attend common places with other people, to smooth the bad habits, to be friendly, to say thank you and please, and because they have to live next to the others and to learn from the others and to be generous and teach to the others. So I think that this was really the most precious asset we had to open Bisonte to a more wide and welcoming place, like a hub.
Yeah, I think you just forget one thing. It's very important for us. A very important challenge for us is to merge together, to open to more to the contemporary art.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what in worldwide or in Edinburgh, how is the situation, but we have a little problem in Italy. I can say differently like this. So we have the contemporary art and we have the
Historical.
printmaking and prints in general, graphic art. There's no communication, okay? Because for the contemporary artists, the printmaking is, wow, what is it? There are artisans.
Ancient stuff.
Yeah.
Very
It's seen as
artistic
historical
stuff.
and traditional.
And on the other hand, the printmakers say, okay, this minimal art, I can do it, but you can't do this. So there is a little fight, but I think we are on the right direction, because I just spoke with for the one program we do is post-print media, is the program we bring since 2 years, 2 years
More or
we
less.
have seen more or less. And so we invite not only printmakers, but most of all we invite multimedia artists. And they, when they arrive here and see and they see the studios and they smell the petrolio, the cos'è che abbiamo?
Gasoline.
The gasoline.
So yeah.
No, we don't have. No, we don't have.
But like
I'm
the
sorry,
inks.
I'm just the curator, so all the parts of the chemistry and so on. I don't know.
But
yeah,
the smell
when
is a big thing.
When they feel the Bisonte atmosphere, because we just show you something, but I assure you, and I can say this because I'm not the family, but the Bisonte atmosphere is magic, and I'm maybe for someone is so romantic, but is real. So when they see this atmosphere and they understand the opportunity to work together with printer, with teachers, with other techniques, to learn techniques. They have something in common with the process. Is so contemporary. Maybe they don't know this is the thing they need to their research. So this is one of our projects. I know there's this is one of yours too, because we spoke about with the Jordan too. So I think is one of the most important in this moment things, especially for the students too, because if we have artists in residence from all over the world, all over the media in the studio, the students, they can see, they can learn even more. I can't, no, I can't hear you. No.
Oh, no.
Non ti sentiamo.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, now, yes.
Okay,
Good.
Good. Moment of panic. No, you touched on something that's really true. As you said, like you need to also do engagement and outreach and remind people about printmaking and teach about printmaking. And I think in contemporary art, there is, I mean, yeah, it might be different because of the different context, but a revival of like the more craftsmanship of some techniques and being really in touch with processes, in touch with materials and so that I think is kind of shared, that there is a bit of a revival, but there needs to be more work in terms of working with schools, working with the public to engage them in what printmaking is and its value and its worth in different ways, just to do the processes, but also to just appreciate the final product.
Absolutely.
I have a question in the chat, and I would also just want to remind everyone who's listening that if you want to ask a question, this is the best time to do it. You can use the reaction, which is just at the bottom of the screen on Zoom, to raise a hand, or just type it in the chat and we will read them out. Rona, who, you already know Rona, who's come for the Printmaking Sisters, she's asking, how many students are there in your year-long courses? So
20
how big are they?
More or less 20 students.
20 students.
More or less than more.
No, usually it's about 20 students, more or less.
More or less.
Average is sort of 50% Italian, 50% international. This is cool to explain because our classes are 90% in English, so can be international. Some of the older teachers may have a little problems, but we usually have the translator available. And by the way, as we told you, the programs are very custom made, so they are not very often lessons in which one teacher talk to all the students together. They each one have a dialogue with the teachers and go on with the person.
It's more one by one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some moments when all the people are okay. This is the technique, but yeah, it's
maybe once a week.
Maybe once a week. We also have seminar actually, and this and we have a seminar, for example, engraving is building. Do we know?
See, engraving.
Because
there was a false friend in my CV because probably the translator put too much engraving in printmaking. That happened.
Yeah, sorry.
The false friend in English and Italian.
So we have engraving seminar and mezzotint, and so the more.
Somebody asked what techniques we do at Bisonte at the very beginning.
Yeah, someone asked. Yeah, so I think you covered them all. So maybe
let's say that I'll do a list that is not, but all the etching one we know, we try to do them. We do from sugar lift, mezzotint, the soft ground, line etching, the dust way, and crackly and rollers, and all the one. And sometimes people find them on the internet. Oh, let's try this one. It's new, and they go on and try that one too. Instead, the major families, as I told you before, like silkscreen and lithography, are apart.
Yeah, we have this double soul in this case too, because we try to explain, we try to teach the traditional techniques right in very orthodox orthodoxo way.
Yeah, very traditional.
But on the other hand, we have seminars and class, and for example, in entire summer school on called contemporary languages of printmaking. So in this case, we focus on photographic, proto-photographic techniques, photomechanical techniques, so gun print. Oh, Marco now is a master of the gun print. I don't know if it's even too much. And channel type, but also this toner transfer technique, and all techniques are about start from photographic image. This is a part. So we do.
Yeah, that's the limit for them is the use of chemicals. It depends really on which chemical you can use and you cannot, because some of them are really dangerous. So we try to stick with the ones that are easy to manage. Want to say one other thing, that is just I want to reconnect with what Silvia said about this environment being familiar and friendly and thrilling. I think we are 8 people working over here. And 4 of them are resident in the studio doing like as teachers, and then Silvia is do so many different things she teaches too. But it's cool to understand that we have probably 8 different positions on printmaking. I mean, we do not have a common point of view, and sometimes this is a dialogue that is not easy to keep going on. Sometimes the students or the artists in residency or whoever is around would like to have one single answer to one question. Instead, they have 8, sometimes even more than 8. And this is part of being part of a dialogue. I think this is very cool because it tells us that printmaking is not that animal stuffed in a museum, but it's alive and kicking and confused sometimes. But in this moment of huge change from digital to artificial intelligence to photography and whatever, I mean, it's not easy to find a very solid point of view. We have to be flexible and to try to ride the waves. And
Yeah.
this is what we try to do. And inside the Bisonte, we fight about that.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
Well,
Yeah.
as you were saying before, it's also part of that aspect of collaboration that exists. Sorry.
No problem.
Collaboration that exists inside the studio, it also exists in the organization if you want to kind of, you know, work
Yeah, the
together.
collaboration, the discussion, sometimes we argue,
Not
sometimes
being,
but we talk a lot about the printmaking, about the
Yeah.
future of printmaking. I read a question, a very particular question. Yeah.
Yeah. So I read,
About
so there's a
gallery.
question in the chat, and I think Jordan also has a question. I might just read the one in the chat, Jordan, and then pass it on to you.
Sure.
So one in the chat, yeah, you've read it. It says, how do you select artists for your gallery if you do temporary shows? So
We
yeah,
do
I don't think you
temporary
mentioned,
show.
yeah.
We select the artist like 1 or 2 years before, so we have a program of 1 or 2 years.
In advance, yeah.
In advance, of course. And yeah, we have a board. So we everyone arrive at the board on this table. Actually, okay, I would like to suggest this artist, show the portfolio and convince the others.
So we invite some artists, or if we receive some proposal, we usually delay them to the board of directors that in some meeting over the year decide which one are possible. To be honest, the point is that we have too many questions and not enough time available for having all of them.
But we reply to all, and we, of course,
do we
yes,
do?
of course,
Oh,
I do.
we reply.
We reply to all and see all the.
That's very kind.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's
No, this is the first thing.
sometimes it's awkward because I understand we are one of the few reference point in Italy, at least, in which printmakers have to submit their ideas or ask for opinions, and so sometimes we have to
Plain book already, okay.
overwhelmed by little things to pay attention to.
I just want to, I think we forgot to mention the scholarships, because there's another opportunity in here. I have time, Ilaria, to say this.
Yeah, and then I'll let Jordan ask his question.
Okay, just
tell us about the scholarship, because it is important, as you said. It's good to know for the
because there's not just artist residencies and exhibition to or just visit us, but we have important opportunities in the scholarships. So we have public funded funding, and private funding. Actually, we receive some funding from institutions, and we used to give scholarships to artists, especially under 35, but
especially Italians, because this is what they ask us for.
Sometimes
but we try to have even international scholarship whenever we can. It's
Yeah.
not you know that most of the money comes from banks and Italian institutions, and they ask us to focus on their own territories. But when we can, we try to make them more international possible.
I quickly reply to the question. Is a nightmare.
funding is a nightmare.
Yeah, the question was like how if it's hard to get in fund. Yeah, it's a nightmare, but
But you try, but you
spend a lot of
try and you
time.
have scholarships, and obviously, yeah, those scholarships, those funding might comes with, as you were saying, specific eligibility that you have to follow, but you do have opportunities for international artists.
Okay.
Which is good
Yeah,
to
you have to read.
Okay, I'll let you. I have to explain, because first of all, we're doing this talk thanks to the funding you having from the Scottish government. Okay, so
Yeah.
more or less, but this is the same situation we have. We have to work a lot, but when I say we have to work a lot, we have to work more from that than for printmaking. Okay, so it's more bureaucracy than printmaking. for having the money for running this whole place. Then it is even true that Il Bisonte, we're very lucky because Il Bisonte was founded in 1959. So we are a very old player. So when we go to the Assessorato alla Cultura, so the cultural
Ministry, yeah, the Culture Council.
They don't give us nothing. No,
yeah,
I
but
want
I mean, if you go to the Banca,
no, of course, so the bank.
if you go
the
to
bank,
the Florentine Bank, everybody
they
knows
know
us.
us.
Okay, we're not an association of three young, amazing, skilled people that have amazing ideas, but they were born yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a story. You have to have several projects at your back. You have to have people knowing you. I mean, once one member of a board said to me, my daughter came to one of your camps. So even working with so many little different activities in a sort of way helped us in receiving funding from institution, because Florence is even a small city, so it's easy to know us.
Yeah. To be honest, we have more problem, for example, with calls or application for contemporary arts, because they don't know as a contemporary art institution, but they know for our history. They know us for our history. So, for example, we have the funds from the Ministry of Culture, just because we are the Bisonte, so for our activity.
So yeah, you're established.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for what we do every day.
Yeah. I think Jordan ended up writing the question in the chat, so I'll read it out for him.
Sorry,
Unless
Jordan.
he wants to add anything, but yeah, it was a good question that I was going to ask you as well, because we briefly saw the galleries and they're not installed yet. So can you highlight some of the upcoming artists who will be working, exhibiting with you this year? Can you tell?
Yes, not Simone, but yeah, Simone, tell us.
Tanguy,
Okay, the next one is Tanguy.
That is a French engraver and specialized in color aquatint.
Then the next, this is interesting because
Lucy Joamovic.
Lucy Joamovic is in
3 years we have to do this exhibition.
Yes, okay, but we have on February 2026, but no, not now. In at the end of May, we have the exhibition of the students. Because every year, we organize an exhibition for the students of the specialization and advanced course. So they have another opportunity to show their work, the path that they do during the year. So after that, we are going to organize an exhibition of it's recorded, but okay, we say, I don't know if we say, but we are finished this exhibition with an emerging artist, very important in Italy. So is Eugenia Vanni is going to come and do a residency here, and that artist is like that kind of artist we spoke before. We told before. So is a contemporary artist. She used printmaking, but she used it in a different way respect. So she used not for the medium in se, but for the research, the poetry. Okay, so it's interesting for this. After that, we can tell about.
Well, this is already quite a.
No, okay, we have another. We can say
some things we are working on since months, and we can't tell you yet.
Okay.
And then we have Lucy Joamovic, and then we have other artists that are going to come in here, David Fayek, and memoria difficile. Wait. Okay. Every year we have group exhibition at the end of the year of the artists. They some of the artists they stay in residency.
Oh, cool. So if an artist does a residency, there's also an opportunity then to exhibit what they've done during the residency.
Yeah, it's not for the people, all the people come in the residency,
No,
okay? But the people are not students.
Some of them are selected among them.
Yeah.
And then we have every year we have an exhibition from the Premio Sciascia that you probably know is an international prize, just artists invited.
We can say about the next year. So we are going to have Pavlo Makov on the 3rd.
Lang. I cannot remember the name. And a guy from Lithuania, I cannot remember the name. So the 3 winners of the former prize, of the latter prize, are going to have an exhibition every other year.
Every other year, yeah. Well, that sounds like a really packed exhibition calendar.
We know.
No,
and
so again, I mean, okay, it is. It's not so simple. We had to lower the number of exhibitions we were having because it was consuming too much time and energies.
Too much time, yeah. I think that's a shared challenge, yeah. Of like number.
The point is that there's less and less galleries do an exhibition of prints, so
yeah. I mean, I'll leave another couple of minutes if people want to ask anything else, but I'll read you just some really nice comments in the chat. And if no one has other questions, we might finish it there. But we have some a few people have said, amazing collection, wonderful presentation of your studio and gallery. Thank you. Thank you for a brilliant introduction to your wonderful studio, its history and direction of travel. And then Rodna has also added a comment, which is so lovely. I think the community in a print studio is so important, and I felt that in Bisonte, and it is what I love about Edinburgh Printmakers too. You learn so much from your fellow printmakers. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. Brilliant.
To fight.
Yeah. How do you continue to fight fascism with printmaking?
Wow,
You are very much in the best place to answer that because of
printmaking is so democratic, and so we unfortunately in Italy we can say we keep going to fight the fascism because
we can say that
some problems, but we would like to say the last thing.
The last thing we can tell you is that we organized the first edition of the Maria Luigia Prize. And we are now on the brink organizing the second one. Is a prize that happens every 2 or 3 years. We still have to decide.
Is a biennial?
It's a biennial. Every 3 years.
Okay, and what does the prize consist of?
Is a residency in Bisonte for 2-3 weeks, maybe. And it depends on how many sponsors we find. Is going to be more price, or more time, more price. We still have to fix and tune the last details, but it is international. It is open. It's free.
Okay.
So
the participation is free, and we also have we're running an edition for the winner for sure.
That's very good. So, is the application process open now?
No,
not yet.
Yeah, you have to follow our social medias to be up to date on what we're doing.
Instagram and Facebook, we are not on TikTok, on other things because I can use it. But yeah.
And we have a letter,
a newsletter.
Exactly that one. We have a newsletter around.
You can enjoy the newsletter from the website. Please wait a couple of days because we are
working on the website.
We are working on the website. So if you go to the website and say, okay, it's down, the website is normal. Okay. We try.
We knew that. We're moving from one server to another server. So
well, I can see that Rosanne, my colleague, has reshared your Instagram page and your link. So for anyone wondering, it's in the chat again. I might finish it here then. If I'm going to check again if anyone has raised hands or anything like that. But if no one has anything else to ask, it's been so nice. I mean, I didn't say it at the beginning. I'm obviously very biased, and I really like Il Bisonte for obvious personal reasons. But it's been really, really nice to see the space and chat and hear everything you do. And it's so impressive, I should say, as you mentioned it as well, that there's only 8 of you. And I want to just recognize the huge amount of work and dedication and passion that goes outside of office hours that I know goes in these kind of organizations to do the work and to offer all the different options of courses and programs and exhibitions that you all offer. So yeah, thank you for letting us in virtually.
Thank you.
Thank you to everybody.
Your studio.
Yeah, thank you. But I just want to a special thank you for Ilaria. Ilaria, okay? Thank you to Edinburgh Printmakers, Jordan, but Ilaria, you organize all this. You write all this. You find so
thanks.
No, thank you, Ilaria, to do this and to put together the community. I think we need to keep in touch, to fight together against sexism in our case, but against not against nothing, but to stay in touch.
Even to widespread this wonderful medium is a common effort,
and share, and all these different realities exist now. I mean, this is the 4th talk, so it's become now apparent that all of our different realities exist in all these different countries and all our specific contexts. But we have a lot of shared challenges, but we also have a lot of shared passion and energy and a lot of shared positive aspects of printmaking, like Rona mentioned, the collaboration and the wanting to share and learn from each other. So we will keep in touch for sure, and we'll try to continue this series of talks for sure. I'm gonna just
from sul Bisonte.
No, fa idea.
Just finish up and close by saying, by reminding everyone who's still here. I just saw the Bisonte. This is so nice. Thank you for showing us the little Bisonte. The next talk as part of our series and final talk for this first series is going to be with Spike Print Studio in Bristol, England, so quite close to us geographically. And it's going to be Thursday, 13th of March. So if anyone who's free, please join us for that talk as well. It'll be really, really interesting to hear more about Bristol's printmaking environment. If you want to be kept up to date, I'm going to say the same as you, with anything Edinburgh Printmakers and our programming, you can sign up to our newsletter, and that is on our website at the very bottom of the website. Thanks again, everyone. Grazie, Simone. Grazie.
Thank you, guys.
Good night.
Hey, Jordan.
Ciao.
See you in the Bisonte.
See you soon.
Okay.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
For the
Thanks for the great
residency.
talk.
Yeah.
Grazie mille.
Bye,
Everyone,
Ciao.
and good night. Ciao.